like that, it's Thursday night. You know what that means? It's party time with the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man beside me, the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday, brother. How are you doing?
Happy Thursday to you, Munson. Shout out to all my wrestling people out there. How's everybody doing tonight?
I hope everybody's rock and rolling, ready to have a good time, ready to party with us and keeping that chat active. As always, if you're new to the channel, maybe you give us a good old thumbs up, a subscribe, all those wonderful things that you can do, whether you're here on Twitch or on the YouTube side. We appreciate each and every one of you. And speaking of Twitch and YouTube, Papa Smokes, we've kind of pinned these two platforms against each other in recent times. And a little thing we like to call WTF, Do We Know About Wrestling, Pub Trivia Night. And it's getting to be about that time, Papa Smokes. I'm thinking maybe next Thursday even.
Ooh.
We got a call for it for part 3 of What the Fuck Do We Know About Wrestling Pub Trivia Night. It's coming back at you. So I'm telling you, I know the champs, they might not be currently up in the house, Papa Smokes, but we're going to have to let them know. Put the word out. The next Thursday night, the titles are back up for grabs right here on Ring Respect Radio. And we're welcoming him into the chat. Speaking of people in the chat, we got our good friend, it's the voice, Josh Joseph, up in the house, saying, how goes it, fellas?
Hey, Josh.
It's going great. Papa Smokes, try to get Josh to come join us on a Thursday night episode of Ring Respect Radio. I think it would be great to have him as a guest here. Does all sorts of wonderful work in professional wrestling, as well as his fantastic podcast, A Moment with Josh Joseph. If you haven't checked it out, I tell you, go check out this guy. Hell of a talent, and I'm looking forward to having him here on the show with us in the upcoming weeks.
Hell, sounds good to me, Munson. Let's do it. All we need is a topic, something to talk about, and we can go.
That's right. We'll also be able to dig deep and interview Josh, get to know more about him, and let the viewers know more about him as well too. Speaking of people we love having here on a Thursday night, it's our good friend Bobby Munson joining us up in the house. How are you doing? I know you already let us know all about MLW tonight. We're going to be talking about MLW here, so we got some juicy stuff to talk about in terms of lawsuits going on in the world of MLW. It's going to be a fun topic here tonight, so we will get to your stuff here in just a moment, Bobby, as we also say hello to Chris Best, CBRS Entertainment, co-host of Turnbuckle Talk with the Gold Standard, my good brother Carl Carafel on Tuesday nights, and he's also the best man on Monday night. Chris Best joining us up in the house, and also previously a Twitch, the International Intercontinental Twitch Trivia Champion of the World. Maybe he's looking to regain said title just next week there. So, Chris he's studying up. He's getting all prepared. And yo, boom! What's up, Bassett? Up in the house. How you doing, my man? Good to see you here. October 21st is coming up very, very soon. Papa Smokes, why don't you let the wonderful people know what Basser's alluding to coming up on October the 21st here in Saskatoon?
Basser is alluding to the Prairie Pro Wrestling next premium live event known as House of Horrors 2, a very scary Halloween-themed party. Probably our biggest show of the year, wouldn't you say, Munson? And culminating in the costume battle royal and such like that. You and I will be present. Basser and I will be manning the cameras at ringside. You will be doing whatever it is you do these days, Munson, around the wrestling show. And we're going to have
many hats in Prairie Pro.
Yeah, I'm just bugging you, but we're going to be having a good time that night. It's always electric every time we go to PPW Wrestling because we're right in there with the action.
We sure are. It's going to be a great night, and we're going to have some great competition that evening as well, too. So stay tuned for those matches when they come out on YouTube every Saturday. You can catch up with all the action from Prairie Pro Wrestling with myself, Pop Smokes, on commentary. As we got Josh saying, thank you both for the great words and continued support. Truly grateful for the friendship. Right back at you, my brother. Couldn't say better things about you. Every word of it, 100% true. I was also... The first time I was asked to be on another show, Papa Smokes, was by Josh Joseph right there. That was the first time I got to be a guest on a podcast, and it was such a cool experience. So for friends for life right there. Plus, he's a whiskey drinker, too, and a pot smoker. So, I mean, he's a video bro in himself. We got Ed Fries, old Ed in the house. Yes, there's the the taking over master of the world famous wrestling rants here on the channel, but overall great human being, wonderful friend, and always thankful for him being here. Ed Fries is up in the house. How are you doing, Ed? Good to see you. Oh, YouTube, Ed. Oh yeah, Ed didn't hear
Exactly.
The title's up for grabs next week. It's Pub Trivia Night number 3 next Thursday night. So you got to shine that belt up, get it all ready, because there's a lot of people vying for that championship in just 1 week's time. So I hope you're going to be here to join us. Now, Ring Respect Radio, Papa Spokes, we like to talk about MLW. We're going to be talking all sorts of MLW. Before we get into the heart of the content here tonight, Bobby mentioning that Tiara James wrestled against Becca on MLW Fusion. That's awesome. Again, glad Tiara James now getting in the mix with the MLW featherweight division, adding some more depth to that roster. It continues to grow. We're seeing great things coming out of Major League Wrestling as of late. And Ichiban wrestled against TJ Crawford. Yes, I saw. And man, they're really going for the push on Ichiban, I believe, because picking up his victory at Fury Road. I don't know about tonight. I'm only presuming, Bobby, that Ichiban came out victorious. I think that this is their new boy they want to push, Pops, folks.
And who was the last guy, Munson? There was a masked guy from Japan that got all the pushes. He had the middleweight title for a while. What was that guy's name?
Shun Skywalker.
Yes, yes. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fantastic. I like Shun Skywalker.
Oh, I'd be down for more of that.
Yeah, and Bobby saying yes, Ichiban did beat TJ Crawford. Yeah, and they gave Ichiban time on Fury Road. They gave Ichiban a big win on Fury Road, now a victory over TJ Crawford. Like, I think they really see the potential in Ichiban, and they really want to make a push for him in MLW. And great, let's get him mixed up in that middleweight division. I think Akira and Ichiban makes for a good, interesting matchup that they can put together for one of these upcoming cards. I'm ready for next week, says Bobby. Perfect. Get your thinking cap on. It's going to be time. Bobby, you could end up being the new YouTube champion there next week. So, well, bring it. We want a big, lively crowd for that trivia night, Papas, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, the first matchup for MLW Slaughterhouse has officially been signed now, although they kind of alluded to it. We kind of saw the writing on the wall there, Papas, folks. Your thoughts on the big announcement coming out of MLW for Slaughterhouse?
Well, certainly you're talking about the match they signed that is Jacob Fatu versus Minoru Suzuki. Is that what you're alluding to?
That would be right, sir.
Yeah, that's an interesting match for a lot of people. It pains me to see Suzuki still wrestling. I remember him in the 90s. He was a killer. He was a shooter. He had all kinds of he made his matches look real because you knew that he could do all that stuff for real and hurt his opponent badly for real if he wanted to, but he's a shadow of his former self. I hate to say it. There's no criticism against a Japanese legend for sure, but that's just it. He's got legendary status as a sadist and as a shoot wrestler. So, I mean, that still follows him. And just like an old band that goes on tour again, they will still have fans that want to see them just to see them. You know what I mean? So this could be an intriguing match against Jacob Fatu, another merchant of violence, shall we say, and another guy, a guy that can handle the job of a match against Suzuki. So, okay, I'm in. Let's do this and let's watch it.
Yeah, and I mean, I like what you're saying there as well, too, because it's kind of the thinking I'm going based on is, while some guys might not be a shadow of their former self, sometimes with the right opponent, they can still get the absolute best that they can get out of them at this current point in their careers. And I think that Jacob Fatu is the type of talent that could end up getting the best out of Suzuki in the matchup at Slaughterhouse. As Papa's folks rejoining us here on Ring Respect Radio, there a slight drop off. You got Josh saying Dudley's just got Legends contracts and now I feel old. No, Josh. The Dudleys should feel old being on Legends contracts. But yeah, they're not even that old, really, are they? I mean, come on. What's Devon and Bubba Ray got to be what, 50 or?
They might be 50. Yeah.
Somewhere around there, I'd imagine. Anyway, I didn't think they were like light years ahead of me on age or anything. So. I mean, damn, I guess we are getting old, Josh. That's just the way it goes, my man. It's just the way it goes.
When you
But
think about it, Devon's sons are grown and huge guys and wrestlers now, so they must be 20 to 25 at least. So yeah, they're getting up there.
I think they're still pretty early, if I'm not mistaken, too. I do recall them reaching out and checking to see if they're ever in the area, if they can swing by and work with Prairie Pro Wrestling as well, too. And that's always a huge yes. If you're coming through the area and you want to swing by Prairie Pro Wrestling and you're somebody of that stature, we're never going to shut the door on you. That's for damn sure. We're very welcoming of top talents coming in and joining our ranks.
Yeah, Amir Jordan just found that out, and our fans found out much to their delight.
Yeah, you bet. And there we go. Confirmation from Chris Best saying Bub's 52, Devon 51. So I wasn't really far off in my estimations of the ages there for the two of them. I mean, did you not go to school with them, Pop Smokes?
Munson, come on.
Okay, sorry.
I was in high school when they were in kindergarten.
Fair enough, Pop Smokes. You wear it well, though, sir. I got to say that. But also, we got the big news coming out of tonight. Aside from, let's not kid ourselves. First of all, Alex fucking Kane, man, number 34 on the PWI 500. The rise continues. Blow my A's, breaking top 10 next year. I will say, though, I mean, it pains me because I'm proud of all the people that got what they got, but it really hurts me when I see somebody like Orange Cassidy in number 7 on the top 500. I mean, really? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It kind of deadens the whole list.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it blew my mind too there, Josh. Great spot for him. Yeah, it sure is. I mean, Alex Kane's looking top, right? I mean, he's mixing it up with the top names in the industry when he starts to get up there. I mean, again, I can't deny that people know who Orange Cassidy is. He's been on TV week to week and everything like that. I don't enjoy the shtick. I'm never going to get into it. It's not my cup of orange juice. But what can you say? I mean, I don't know. It's not my thing, so I dislike that choosing. But then I'm so happy for everybody that I know who made it on the list, and especially someone like Alex Kane, who's, again, when we started talking with Alex Kane and when he came on our show, we're talking about a guy who had barely cracked the top 500 list, and now the whole world's paying attention to Bull Maye.
For sure. And as we know, Pro Wrestling Illustrated has a little they have respect for MLW. I like that they consider them one of the major companies, along with WWE, AEW, Impact, and is there a New Japan or something like that? But they consider MLW a world champion. So therefore, the current world champion, when that list comes out, is going to get some of the rub from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Makes me proud, man. For someone that's a wrestler to have maybe read that magazine when they were a kid and then looked at the ratings and looked at all that, and then to actually be featured in there, just amazing.
Yeah. And to imagine getting to have some of these people on here, that we've known or talked to. I mean, even my boy Bougie going up a list a little bit further. He's creeping up a little. I told him, I said, it's only going to keep going. I told him in a year's time, we're going to be sitting here talking about Bougie breaking like the top 200 kind of thing. And then before long, he's going to be right up there too. I mean, it's only just starting to kick off for these guys. And speaking of kicking off, Don King is going to be featured on MLW next week. And now, is Don King actually going to be there? Or is this going to be like Don King in his hospital bed talking to the audience from his smartphone? I'd be curious to find out on that one. But yeah,
only in America, Munson.
Only in America. Well, we're in Canada, so damn. One thing I got a question about the PWI 500. How the fuck did Tyrus get on the list? I missed that part, and I'm glad I did, because fuck Tyrus. And yeah, wow. For what? I mean, I know he was the champion in NWA, but so what? He's the most hated NWA champion maybe ever, universally, not because he's a heel that's hated. He's a guy that nobody wants to see work. And as soon as the owner of NWA sticks up for him in defense, then he gets shit on quite heavily as well, too, for opening his mouth in defense of Tyrus. So what's that say? I mean, again, we're all going to disagree on certain ones. Guaranteed. There's always going to be ones we're going to shake our heads and go, why? But, kudos to those out here in Canada that made the list as well, too, Pop Smokes. I mean, anybody that's worked the independents here in Canada, I don't care who they are, what the name is, congratulations. And good on you for making that list and making the world pay attention. Did Matt Cardona get on the... I haven't seen. I'd imagine so. I don't see how
I'm sure he is.
Like, I mean, he pretty much had every belt in the industry for the entire year and has shown up every company except for the big two, really. So I would think so. Best, my guess is name alone is why. Fair, I guess. I mean, if you call that a name.
With Tyrus, he's talking about?
I'm assuming so, yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's the rub from him having just held one of the major independent belts or one of the major large independent companies. They put him on there just because he was NWA champion for a bit there.
Josh. I mean, I'm sure that's the case as well too. I mean, whether what you think about him personally, I guess, is irrelevant. It's the same as what we think about Orange Cassidy. He's there. He made that list. He had a long run with a title nobody remembers. I mean, that, only got beaten by another guy who made the top of the list in Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley beat Gunther on this list, which is where I have an issue with it. Because to me, Gunther is one of the best things going in professional wrestling. So in my opinion, Gunther should have been right up there, especially over Moxley, in my opinion. But again, opinion only. Astrid, how are you doing? Hey, thanks for joining us on a Thursday night here on Ring Respect Radio. How is your Thursday going? Glad to see that you're here. Bobby saying EC3 is to defend the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Tom Latimer at NWA Sam Hain on October 28th. That sounds absolutely fantastic there, if you ask me, Papa Smokes.
Yeah.
Damn. Maybe we should tune in to that one. Sorry I'm late. I've been reading. That's okay, Astrid. You're here. That's all that matters. And reading is a good thing. It exercises the brain. We know you do a lot of that as well too. Doing all right. How are you guys? Hey, it's Thursday night. We are doing awesome. We do the best prep for shows on Thursday nights. Just fuel us full of alcohol and that stuff. And a little bit of rock and roll music, and we're ready to kick some ass and take some names.
We got to get in the conversational mood,
Papa Smokes, we've got a first-time chatter up in the house. We got BDJ 306 joining us up here. How
BDJ?
Find us. Very happy that you're here tonight, joining us on Ring Respect Radio. Thank you very, very much. Glad
Munson,
that you're here.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that I might know who BDJ 306 is. I'm not going to tip my hat quite yet.
And I'm assuming that BDJ needed to put wish instead of witch. I'll let you off the hook this time. Wish I was Astrid so Munson would read my comments. Woo!
He's off and running already.
Rock and roll, yeah. It's going to be an interesting night going forward now, isn't it? Josh Joseph, NWA star Paulo Del Mar graced in your house this week. That's HOWSE. W is for work this week, and drop some hints on the NWA. So yes, you can go catch that. Josh, I think you can try posting the link in Twitch, and I'll approve it if it tries to block it on you so that people can go check that out, and I'll put it up on the screen here for you. Level out, someone wishing they were me. What? Yeah, we got one of the very funny 306ers up in the house here tonight that probably going to try the best to razz me throughout the stream after. So
I suspect
BDJ 306 to the Ring Respect Radio fun Thursday night chat. Keep it clean. This is a PG-13 show, just so you know, but we can say fuck every once in a while. Oh. But that's about as far as we go here on Ring Respect Radio. But Papa Smokes, we haven't even started getting to the heat of the topic here tonight, which is MLW and their lawsuit against WWE that we've spoken about here previously on Ring Respect Radio. And I wanted to add the extra layer of now that WWE is officially under the Endeavor TKO merger, which has now merged both the WWE and the UFC into one unit. So now really this large sports entertainment unit, as they're calling it, is sitting there, but they are still getting chipped away at by Court Bauer and MLW. As I did mention on Busting Out this past Sunday with Chris Parrish, the news coming out first and foremost was that, as sorry, hold on, I'll cut that off for just one moment. Yeah, I will keep that link on the screen there for those of you on the YouTube side so that you can copy that down, put that in. Anybody on the Twitch side, make sure to click that right there to check that show out right now, and make sure to go show some love and support to the fellows over at In Your House Podcast. Great show over there. They have some awesome guests, and I want to see them get a little bit more attention, a little bit more respect there, Pop Smokes. That's another crew that we should look at having here on the show sometime soon. But heading on over to the MLW conversation here for a moment, Pop Smokes. The WWE has been slapped with a bit of an order in this one, where MLW believes that there was conversations or reason to believe that there is information stating that they had a deal in place with the streaming service Tubi. Now, Tubi being a free ad-supported streaming service that you can find on your televisions, your smartphones, whatever, that this deal had been put into place, and only days before they were about to finalize everything to go, a conversation came in between Tubi and Stephanie McMahon, is what the report is claiming. Now, WWE is denying that this is the case. Of course, they're going to. They're not going to plead guilty on any of this kind of stuff, and they're going to do everything they can to push back. But as I was reporting that day, they're stating that Stephanie McMahon had a conversation with Tubi, squashing any deal that Tubi would have made with MLW in that one. And there's also a little bit more that I was reading up on today. I want to just find the article here, Papa Smokes, but initially going to get your thoughts on that piece. Bobby, we'll get to your other comment regarding Selena De La Renta in a bit after we talk a little bit on this. Papa Smokes, your thoughts on MLW chipping away at this and really trying to make WWE show their cards, prove that they haven't been stopping smaller companies like theirs all these years. And will they be successful? That is the key question.
Yeah. This antitrust lawsuit was launched last January to a chorus of laughter and sardonic snickering from everybody, thinking like, this little David can never defeat this Goliath or get anything from it, because MLW, obviously, without nearly the legal or financial power that WWF has, but it has made it through several appeals. And now, as you stated, the latest piece of information to come out of this is that, apparently Stephanie McMahon was tampering with the whole process of MLW trying to secure that Tubi deal. I think that Court Bauer alleged that it also occurred with his Reels deal, but he still got the Reels deal. And I don't know the complete factual background of the whole thing. Is there proof somehow that this conversation between McMahon and Tubi actually took place? We don't know about this yet, but we'd like to see some evidence of it. And the fact that the judge has overturned already a couple of WWE's attempts to get this suit thrown out shows that where there's smoke, there might be a little bit of fire here too. And it'll be interesting to see, because WWE has always used monopolization techniques in its business practices, but no one's ever really had the power or the strength or the success to successfully complete a monopoly lawsuit like that. So it'll be interesting to see, can Court Bauer succeed where other companies have not? Time will tell, I guess, but it actually is looking a lot stronger than it was when he first launched it.
Yeah, you bet. Again, Court Bauer and MLW is a little engine that could, it seems. Chris Best saying, as a subscriber to Tubi, I really wish MLW did get that deal. You know, I mean, I subscribed to Tubi as well, too. I would have been fine with that. I'm happy with them being on Fight because I went and got the Fight Plus package. I love Fight. I love Fight Plus. I watch Fusion on there. We watch the MLW, the big cards as well, too. And again, Chris Best, hey, what are you doing? MLW Slaughterhouse night, man. You should join us for the tailgate watch along party, dude. You're an MLW fan. There's a seat there for you. You just let me know. But yeah, I mean, I would have been good with that. I'm still okay with the way things went and where we're at with them being on Fight Plus. But again, yeah, WWE, it looks like they're a little bit scared now because they're coming back. Here is what's the latest, and this being reported by 411mania.com. I don't know how good their sources are. So again, I am saying this is just what I'm reading off of here. I'm not saying any of this is definitely factual, but what they're reporting here, and I will read this word for word for you guys. WWE has filed a response to MLW's motion to shut down their potential defenses in the lawsuit filed by MLW against them. As reported back in August, WWE filed a motion earlier this month laying out 12 potential defenses against MLW's allegations that WWE violated the Sherman Act regarding antitrust practices and more. MLW has filed a motion attempting to shut down the defenses on a point-by-point basis. As reported by PW Insider, WWE filed its response on September the 8th. The response argues that the following: the U.S. District C plaintiff MLW Media LLC's or Major League Wrestling motion to strike never should have been filed and should be denied. World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, WWE, served its answer to MLW's amended complaint on August the 14th of 2023. 11 days later, MLW filed the motion without ever so much as mentioning the issues raised in it to WWE, much less asking WWE to amend or withdraw any of its affirmation defenses before filing. As MLW acknowledges, the purpose of motions to strike under Rule 12 is to avoid expenditure of time and money that will arise from litigating spurious issues. But MLW's motion does the opposite. It wastes the court's time and resources by litigating issues that could have and should have been resolved between the parties. WWE's August 14th pleading is entirely proper and meets the relevant pleading standards established by the Ninth Circuit. All the Rule 8 requires of WWE is to affirmatively state its affirmative defenses. The key question is whether WWE has provided MLW fair notice of the basis of those defenses, and the Ninth Circuit has held that such fair notice only requires describing such defenses in general terms. While it is true that some courts in the district have applied Twombly and Iqbal's plausibility standards to affirmative defenses, notwithstanding Kohler, MLW ignores the courts are split on the question, and the predominant approach in the Ninth Circuit applies the more forgiving fair notice standard. WWE has met the fair notice standard by pleading self-evident and well-recognized affirmative defenses of the type that are routinely pleaded in similar terms in district courts across the circuit. Moreover, motions to strike are heavily disfavored in this circuit. Courts have described the movement's burden as heavy, demanding, and formidable, and regularly deny such motions in the absence of showing prejudice to the moving party. MLW has not attempted to make such showing of prejudice here, nor could it. MLW does not explain how the supposed insufficiency of WWE's pleading renders it unable to adequately pursue discovery, nor how any WWE's affirmative defenses as pleaded will create additional burdensome discovery. In fact, WWE has already provided information about one of the key defenses that MLW seeks to strike in response to MLW's interrogatories. For these reasons, MLW's motion should be denied. Nevertheless, to avoid more needless litigation over these issues, WWE requests in the alternative that MLW's motion be denied as moot and submits herewith a proposed amended answer that addresses several of the objections that MLW has raised by withdrawing certain affirmation defenses and adding detailed allegations that eliminate any possible doubt to the sufficiency of the remaining affirmative defenses. For those reasons, and as set out below, WWE respectfully requests that the court either deny MLW's motion in its entirety as legally unfounded, or in the alternative, accept WWE's proposed amended answer and deny the motion as moot. WWE is absolutely trying to squash this thing as much as they possibly can, Papa Smokes.
Yeah, that was a huge mouthful, but I think I can boil it down to something a little more brief than that. WWE is going to try and drag this out for so long and just starve the plaintiffs out. And with superior financial capability and superior teams of lawyers, they're just going to try and freeze out Court Bauer, and Bauer's not having it. He keeps filing the counter motions, which turns it into a game of checkers between the two sides, which is just going to take more and more time. So what this boils down to me is that it's going to be a while yet before we slog through this legal quagmire, and yeah, we'll see if Bauer can last the distance. I mean, he's going to have him and his legal team are going to have stamina to follow along with this WWE, who are obviously going to try and stretch things out and starve them out.
Yeah, they're doing everything in their power anyway. Court Bauer is not laying down easily. He's not just going to let this lie. He's going after them. He's going after them hard. He really wants to try to expose them. And I don't even think, in my opinion, that this has anything to do with money. It doesn't even have anything to do at this point directly with the deal with Tubi or anything like that. I think at this point in time, Court Bauer is doing this on behalf of every professional wrestling company that has ever been denied a deal because of Vince McMahon and the WWE.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. And somebody had to step up and do it. It's too bad that they're alone. It would have been better, maybe, or easier if they could have gotten more support and more legal and financial support, maybe from some other wrestling companies that agree with his stance and all that. But I'm sure they thought of all that stuff. I'm sure it was mulled about pretty heavily before the suit was actually launched. So Bauer intends to do this, not only for his own company, but to put a stop to this, to at least open some people's eyes to the fact that there's some sketchy business dealings going on, as there always have been with especially Vince McMahon Jr. with the WWF. And somebody's sick of it. I mean, those practices collapsed the entire territory system, turned the whole TV system on its head. And sure, you got one multi-billion-dollar company out of it, but look at what was lost through that too. And Bauer doesn't want to see the rest of the independents fold under the power of the WWE.
Well, and especially the power that they have now. Again, we were talking about when this was initially done, a WWE that, it was a shell of its former self in terms of, the amount of people that were tuning in, the amount of money that it was drawing. And it wasn't until, a shift in management and all this talk of a sale, and now the sale is official, the merger has happened, and Endeavor Sports has become TKO now on the stock market. This is the company that owns both the WWE and the UFC. So we're talking about a $9 billion company now that little MLW Court Bauer is going after. They've got all the money in the world and all the time in the world to throw at this thing. But at the same time, Court Bauer, again, he's been plugging away at this shit for just over 20 years now, doing the Major League Wrestling thing. And I don't care what you say. I don't think there's a bit of him that doesn't want to fight, that doesn't want to stick in this and just see how much damage he can do, how much he can do to make TKO Sports crack. Because, again, they might want to clear some of this shit off their plates before going forward, especially being on the stock market. So maybe they're looking to maybe pay out and just say, hey, let's leave this to rest. Let's not go any further. Here's your payout. And maybe that's what MLW needs in order to, thrive and get some of that talent to stick around.
Yeah, I actually expected that when WWE over the past year looked to be tidying up things. Everybody was speculating about a sale. I thought that they might get some of these pesky lawsuits out of the way before the merger happened. I thought that might have been some of their house cleaning, including some of the layoffs and various things happening. As we hear today, they're looking at more layoffs coming up in the near future. I don't know if that's talent and or staff. I assume it's probably going to be some mixture of the both, but
Tony Khan salivating at the thought. Oh,
yeah,
who's coming next?
Yeah, he's got to get his daily withdrawal amount increased at the bank. Maybe he'll be getting whatever C-level stars that the WWE doesn't want. But
that's right.
At any rate, the other point I was going to make is that let's not forget through all this that Court Bauer worked for Vince and the WWE for a number of years in times past, earlier in the 2000s. So I don't know. Does he know their playbook a little bit? Has he had a few glances at the way things are done business-wise in the WWE? I'm sure that Court learned a lot of his business acumen from being around the lawyers and Vince McMahon and the various business types of the WWE. Maybe he learned just a little bit more about their playbook too. Who knows?
He very well could have, as Josh coming in saying, because, well, there isn't enough fans for everyone. Why Vince go against the promise of his father and play victim when a promotion makes waves? Why not embrace and become bigger and better for us, the fans? Agreed, 100%.
It'd be nice.
Exactly. Stop worrying about the MLWs and the AEWs and just do better. And I'm not crapping all over them. I mean, there's stuff they do that I like. There's stuff everybody does that I enjoy. It's just, instead of worrying about those guys, worry about your own business. Make your own business stronger. Do everything you can to be better than the other guys on screen. And that's what it's all about. So, but, anyway, enough about lawsuits, enough about fighting in amongst wrestling companies, because we like wrestling. We enjoy our wrestling, and we enjoy what's going on in MLW. Well, folks, let's go to this for a minute. Salina De La Renta, we talked about her being back, and apparently Bobby's saying she wants to get revenge on Jacob Fatu. I wonder what Salina could have up her sleeve in store for Jacob Fatu. She's threatened about who she's going to bring in, the clients she's going to be bringing back to or just into MLW. Remember, was it not Salina De La Renta that gave us King Huertas in MLW?
Yes, it was for sure. But what I'm trying to figure out is what leads to her wanting revenge against Fatu. Now, what happened? Now, we're going back almost 2 years now. I can't remember the incident about her leaving. It was to do with Cesar Duran, and Microman had, well, maybe he entered after that.
Yeah, no, he was during Duran's time, but after Salina's time. But I think would it not have been the crossover with everything that it was kind of a little bit of a mess, but they had the stuff going on with all the Lucha people that De La Renta had in their corner, but then also along with the Contra team. At the same time, they kind of cross paths a little bit. I don't know
and
that
Los Parks, I guess, too.
Yeah,
she managed Los Parks, and there was some tag team action going on there.
I think you'll find that it kind of stems back a little bit further than even just right towards the end of De La Renta's run.
Okay.
And so it probably runs a little bit deeper than that. But a couple of things to say about this as well, too. Apparently, Fatu looked to have been injured at the recent tapings there. Apparently, he's going to be able to go on and participate still. But it was looking a little scary there that he might not be able to go on for a little bit and might have to take some time off. So glad that he's going to be able to take part. But interesting to see how this pans out. Either way, excited to see what De La Renta brings to the table. I'm curious to know who she's going to bring into MLW, and Slaughterhouse is looking like a great time because all those questions are going to be answered. And I'm sure we're also going to have a main event to Pop Smokes. I'm pretty sure it got laid on the table here tonight as our boy Alex Kane, number 34 on that PWI Top 500, he told it like it is, and he wants to choke out Davey Boy Smith Jr. one more time like he did at the Battle Riot. I'm all down. MLW Slaughterhouse, Alex Kane, Davey Boy Smith Jr. Let's put those two workhorses in that ring for the MLW Championship. 100% in for that.
Great idea. A couple of thoroughbreds right there. A couple of guys that have amateur wrestling experience and shoot fighting experience. I've watched Davey Boy Smith Jr., some of his training videos, and he trains like a like a real cage fighter, and he's got all kinds of potential. And against Alex Kane, man, this is two big guys with some suplex skill, some throws, all kinds of submission holds and all that too. I'm looking forward to this. So Davey Boy Smith has got himself a championship match, eh? Well, I will have to watch that.
Teased. Yeah.
Teased, okay.
Yeah.
But they're thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, when it's been thrown down like we know the tease is only lead into the acceptance by Davey Boy Smith Jr. next week, and then the card being laid out. Because, again, they're going to want to get that out there. They're going to want to build up and let people know what's the big match, what's the main event going to be. And, of course, Alex Kane, Davey Boy Smith Jr., that's great. I was wondering why we hadn't seen Davey Boy Smith Jr. the last little bit. Seems like ever since the Battle Riot, he hasn't been present, and I was wondering if he was still going forward with MLW. Glad to see that's the case. I'm down for this. I'm down for more Davey Boy Smith Jr. as well, too. Great former MLW heavyweight champion. He's going to give Alex Kane one hell of a match.
For sure. And they started this showing us a little bit of this rivalry during the Battle Riot, right? That was one of the hottest rivalries within that Battle Riot match, including some of the they've had a little bit of heat over the Oprah Cup being stolen. I'm sure Davey Boy Smith didn't appreciate that cup being absconded with by the Baumaye Fight Club. Dented a few other things, but we won't go into that. But there has been some bad feelings between these two over the past 6 months, let's say, and including stuff about the Opera Cup. So this lends itself perfectly into a semi-grudge match or a little bit of a grudge match. And if there's a big shiny gold belt on the line, then so be it. Let's do this.
And remember, Davey Boy Smith Jr. was the one that won this year's Opera Cup as well, too. So now the two-time Opera Cup winner, Davey Boy Smith Jr. And again, maybe Alex Kane wants to put the Oprah Cup back on his mantle. Again, if it's sitting there at ringside, he's got the Baumaye Fight Club. He got my boy Bougie and your good personal friend, Mr. Thomas, in his corner. Maybe O'Shea Edwards as well, too. It might not be too difficult for those boys to head on over and just take what they want from Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Well, that should be a wake-up call to Davey Boy as well. He better have some backup in his corner, maybe a couple of Billington Bulldogs, perhaps.
Possibly, yeah. I haven't seen the boys there for quite some time. I wonder if they're going to be still kicking around. Need to light up that MLW tag team division a little bit more because it's looking like the Collins holding way too much gold over there at the moment. They're kind of hoarding it all to themselves. So I want to see somebody really go at them. Maybe we'll get a tag team title match at Slaughterhouse. But yeah, Bobby saying he thinks that Jacob Fatu did something to Selena back in MLW Superfight 2019. She said she has the receipts for Jacob Fatu. So Fatu's been put on notice by Selena De La Renta. And if I were Fatu, I wouldn't take this as an open threat. Selena De La Renta means business. And like we said, when she brought in King Muertes, it was a game changer for MLW. Who knows what she's got? Maybe, who knows? When are we going to see Cruel in MLW? Man, did you see his spot on the PWI?
Yeah.
Damn, man. Damn. Oh, awesome for him, first of all. But I would love to see them bring in Cruel as Cruel. Don't bring him back as Mods Kruger. He got burnt. Mods Kruger got all burnt up. Now he's got the full face mask. He's Cruel. Bring him in. Have him go in there, do some destruction. I'd love to see him back in the ranks of MLW.
Sure, absolutely. And the thing about Selena De La Renta coming back, that's great news. That's almost the best news MLW could get, in my opinion. We've raved about her before. She's extremely talented. She cuts an awesome promo. She's got the look. She's got the charisma. She's got everything. Plus, she's got experience and talent and creativity for producing the TV shows. She has been the executive producer of 2 or 3 episodes of Fusion in the past at a young age of 22, 23 at that time. She's a wrestling prodigy and she's still fairly unknown in the business, which is kind of weird, but I'm still surprised she hasn't been plucked up by a larger company, but I'm glad about that because She can work on herself in MLW. She can be herself there without having to take another name that's chosen by someone else and another character and another idea and another way of presenting her. She can come in as the badass Latina manager of talent and executive producer of the show, and she's a bigwig when she's on MLW, and that's quite deserved because she can handle that spot. But at a time when MLW seems like they're a little bit thin on talent, they got to get her some good guys. They have to. If she's going to manage a stable, they've got to have some meat and some beef in that. I don't just mean big guys. I mean wrestlers of quality, possibly a woman, and then a couple of other guys. She needs somebody that can move the needle, that can get involved in feuds at the top of the card and the upper middle card. This will be perfect, and Selena will help get all those guys over.
You bet she will. And again, like Bobby's saying, maybe she'll bring in someone to beat Delmi Exo for the MLW Women's Featherweight Championship. And again, she did threaten to bring her first client as one of the best luchadoras, was the term I heard at Fury Road. So I'm I'm more than half expecting to see one of the wonderful luchadoras of maybe AAA or something like that, heading on over to MLW to be part of this new faction that's headed up by Selena De La Renta. Speaking of Delmi Exo, and again, I hadn't told you this news, Papa Smoke, so I was going to let you know afterwards, but our good friend Astrid Pizarro has got some fantastic news. She's also part of a group called Women's Wrestling Talk, and they have set up possibly an interview hosted by Astrid with MLW Featherweight Champion Delmi Exo. So again,
nice.
Papa Smokes, I need to know by the end of tonight if you have a question to ask Delmi Exo that Astrid can ask on our behalf. So Delmi is going to be appearing with the natural Astrid Pizarro. So make sure you guys check that out once that becomes available. We will make sure to retweet that and put that all over the X and everything else as well on the socials so that you guys can make sure that you're checking that episode out. I mean, as soon as Astrid told me last night, Pop Spoke, I was like, hell yeah, awesome. Like,
that's
great.
Awesome.
I'm hoping that MLW straps right there during that interview. That would be fantastic.
Very cool.
And Bobby said maybe Lady Flommer. I know that wouldn't be a disappointment at all. Lady Flommer was fantastic.
She was great last time. In fact, that's been one of the more exciting segments of the featherweights division so far. I think it was fun at first with Holodead and a few of them, and then the next exciting little part was when they had the 4 or 5 of the luchadoras in there, and they had a couple of those mixed matches or the 4-way matches for a shot at the belt. And then didn't Lady Flammer win one of those, but was unsuccessful in her title shot against Taya Valkyrie?
Well, and I think Taya actually it was involved in one of the 4-way matches as well too, with the belts on the line.
Who was the champ at that time then?
It's only been Taya and Delmi. That's the only 2 champions so far for the.
Okay, so that was before Taya was awarded, or before Taya won the belt, I suppose. Then that was a contenders match. But at any rate, I know we enjoyed a nice injection of Mexican ladies wrestling. They do it just a little bit different than the American and Canadian wrestlers. That style is just noticeably different. Those ladies were really good at it. Flammer, La Hiedra, Sexy Star, and there was at least 2 more that were good in that little run there. I'd be totally down to see more lady luchador action.
Yeah, it will be fantastic. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing who Selena brings over with her. Maybe we'll see somebody we don't know yet. Maybe somebody who's been mixing it up there in AAA that hasn't had their shot in North America just yet, and we'll get that opportunity there very, very soon. I know there's a message coming here on YouTube. There it is. Bobby saying Lady Shawnee was another name as well, too. Right. So, yeah, fantastic. I mean, all I can say is MLW has been great as of late. There's been a lot of great things going on. MLW Fusion's been rocking and rolling there, Pop Smokes. Again, if you need to catch up on Fury Road, I gotta get you hooked up with that. But Slaughterhouse is going to be coming up very, very soon here. We know that that's what we've been talking about here. It's Saturday, October the 14th. I'm presuming it's going to be in around that 6 o'clock time frame this time, maybe, possibly. But we'll stay tuned. We'll find out exactly for you guys. But we will be running our tailgate watch-along party. Pops, folks, I think you owe the people some sort of crazy food. I had to fill in on the crazy food last time. I think you got to bring something to the table this time around.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'll take my turn. My mouth was still burning a little bit from those wings a couple months ago. That was such a fiery experience eating those horseradish hot sauce wings. We'll see if we can get some more going, or maybe something else entirely.
Maybe we should Halloween theme our Slaughterhouse show. Maybe it's a horror themed watch along tailgate party here, Pops, folks. Maybe we should be eating bloody steaks and drinking red wine or something like that here on the tailgate watch along party.
Well, if it's a Slaughterhouse as a pay-per-view, as long as they don't have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre match in it, I'm fine.
That's right. Leatherface can stay in the video games and on the big screen in the movies, but out of a wrestling ring, that's for damn sure. Man, that was awful. That was so awful. But, Pops, folks, we're coming up to the 1 hour mark here on Ring Respect Radio. Is there anything else tonight, sir, that you wanted to talk about with the audience before we let everybody get on their merry way?
Not really so much. One of the things I'm glad that you brought up the ongoing trivia challenge, though, because I've been thinking about it too. I know that our listeners are getting pumped. They're getting their trash talk ready. They're going to be reading their little trivia wrestling cheat sheets and such all the way through. I thought maybe you should announce the champions again of each league, give them a nice regal announcement, and get everybody thinking about what could happen next week.
So next week, the belts are back on the line. It will be our current champion, the International Intercontinental Twitch Champion of the World, They're Amazing.
Yeah.
Send it over on the Twitch side of things. And then it's I don't know if we came up with a proper name, but it's the massively awesome, all too real YouTube Champion of the World, Ed Fries, will be defended on the YouTube side of things. It is going to be fantastic. And speaking of former champions right there, Chris Best looking to become the first two-time champion over on the Twitch side next week. Too late, Leatherface has already been a wrestler in the 80s. Corporal. Yeah, well, I know. We didn't need the return in 2023 by any means now, did we, Chris? But no, that's Slaughterhouse. Let's stick to Slaughterhouse. Fuck the Leatherface. Fuck the Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now, except for when it comes to the movies. And let's just keep to the wrestling. That's pretty much the show here, Pops, folks. I'm thinking for all of you wonderful people here tonight, I want you to stick around. If you're on the Twitch side, we're going to get ready and go on over to Heel Kevin in just a couple of moments here. But before we do, I want to let you guys know about where you can find us here at our local establishment down below. That is all the places you can find OLE Podcast and all the great things coming from all the great contributors here on the channel. And then you've got our good sponsors over at Rogue Energy, rogueenergy.com, where you can use that promo code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. But hey, in the meantime and in between time, Papa Smokes, let the good people know where they can find the great, wonderful Papa Smokes.
All right, if you need to find Papa Smokes, you can check my ticker at the bottom. I have my own ticker, by the way, everybody, but I will verbally announce it as well. I am on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland and amusement park known as X. I am at smokes_papa. You can also find me on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
That is where you can find Papa Smokes. As for myself, Bobby Munson, you check out that ticker down below. That is where you can find me in terms of the social side of things. But where can you find me during the week? Well, you're going to be able to find me in the next capacity right here on Sunday with my brunch buster brother, Chris Parrish, for another episode of Busting Out. If you're on the Twitch side of things, you'll know we've just headed over to our good friend Heel Kevin. Give him a good OLE welcome. Bobby saying a great show. And Holy smokes, Twitter, I'm joining. There you go. Sounds fantastic. We want to thank each and every one of you for spending time with the Video Bros on your Thursday night. Make sure you check us out on the commentary team of Prairie Pro Wrestling on Saturdays. And again, we will see you guys next Thursday night right here at Ring Respect Radio. Take care, everybody.